Welcome back to Cryptos Are Us. I am George. We're all George. Today, wow. Welcome back to Cryptos Are Us. I am George. Bitcoin We're all is around George. 20, 21,000 right now. Welcome back. Did Bitcoin hit the bottom? What happened today exactly? What's the latest news with Celsius? Did Bitcoin hit the bottom? What happened today exactly? What's the latest news with Celsius? Probably an echo. My bad. My bad. Let's try again. Welcome back to Cryptos Are Us. I am George. We're all George. So what happened with Bitcoin? Definitely not good. Bitcoin is hovering around 20, 21,000. Altcoins decimated. U.S. markets decimated. But did we hit a bottom? And what's going on with Celsius Network? Let's discuss those things. So smash the like, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that notification bell to get notified of all my streams. Follow me on social media. Check out CryptosAreUs.com. And make sure you follow brand new Cryptos Are Us Clips channel. Welcome. Sorry about the echo at the beginning. It was when I was showing my video clip this morning. Left it on. I apologize. I'll cut that out later. But let's get to it. What is going on? What is going on with Bitcoin? Well, it's right now right under $21,000. This morning when I was streaming, I believe it was around 25,000. Then it headed down to about 23,000, and right now we're at 21,000. So does that mean we have finally hit bottom? Right? We were stuck up here, around 29, 30, 31. We were in this channel. Then we broke out. We broke below the previous low, 25. Right now we're at 21. So everyone wants to know, did we hit bottom? Well, let me show you a few things that indicate that this is either bottom or it's near. Okay, I'm going to preface by saying could be near because I do think there's one event that's missing. And I'm going to talk about what I think that one event is. Based on what I'm seeing right now, based on what I'm sensing. But I did want to show you guys a few things first. First of all, this is showing all the volume on all the major exchanges. BitMEX, Bybit, Coinbase, Bitfinex, Binance, and FTX. Where did all the sell volume come from? Well, it looks like from FTX. Makes me wonder why that is. FTX volume is nowhere close to Binance, right? So why did all the sell volume come from FTX? I don't actually quite know. But it is interesting, though, that most of the sell volume today came from FTX. Now, if you think about it, how does Sam Bankman-Fried make his money? Well, he made it utilizing algorithmic trading, and I'm wondering if that has something to do with it. Just speculating, just throwing that out there. But yeah, it's just really strange that most of the volume came from FTX. Just wanted to throw that out there. But U.S. markets obviously decimated this morning or today, minus 900. If you go look at it, minus 900, NASDAQ minus 500. It's just not good. I noticed this MicroStrategy went down minus 25% today. And then on top of that, after hours, another 5%. So literally, they're down 30%. And unfortunately, all of MicroStrategy's gains, the stock gains that came from Michael Saylor declaring that they're going all in on Bitcoin, has literally been wiped out. We are at the same point before Michael Saylor announced that he was going to buy Bitcoin. So basically, that's all white. That's how bad it is in the stock market, too. Okay, it's not just MicroStrategy. It's Coinbase, it's Riot, it's Mara. And outside of crypto-related stocks, everything has been completely decimated. Fear today is at 8. We don't see 8 very often. But when we do, well, that's usually a good time to buy, right? But fear is definitely high. U.S. market is looking a little bit better in pre-market for tomorrow, but it could swing wildly to the red again. Right now, there's a lot of fear about the Fed rate hike that's coming on Wednesday. And somehow, it's being reported now, rather than a 50 basis point hike, it's going to be 75 basis points. Just came out of nowhere. So this definitely spooked markets even more. Powell already said 75 basis points is not on the table, but somehow it's coming up again. Let's hope that this doesn't happen, because if it does, it's going to be absolutely disastrous after Wednesday, right? But if it's in line with 50 basis points, which is what it should be, then things should calm down a bit. But now this came out and obviously adding to the fear. And what else is adding to the fear, or what shows how bad it is right now, right, is you look at a lot of crypto companies, like the exchanges. Crypto.com just announced that they're laying off 5% of their corporate staff, right, obviously due to the downturn. BlockFi, which is a major lending company, competitor to Celsius, is cutting 20% of their staff right now, right? Obviously, cuts are being made. Gemini is cutting 10% of their workforce, and Coinbase said that they're just pausing their hiring freeze, but they could be cutting their employees as well, right? So another sign that, yeah, it's bad out there, but another sign that may indicate that bottom is in, because we are at that capitulation period right now, or capitulation feel, right? When it seems like all is lost and things are just so depressing and it's never going to come back, right? It definitely feels like that. It definitely feels like that. However, there are many that are unswayed by this. There are many that are staying strong with Bitcoin, regardless of what these companies are doing, regardless of how Wall Street is acting, regardless of the fact that Bitcoin is at $21,000. Who are they? The ones that have turned the corner, the ones that have seen the light. And I'm not talking about just Michael Saylor, but you have many famous investors that are still sticking. Stan Druckenmiller still says that he prefers Bitcoin over gold. Doesn't matter what happens. He's staying with Bitcoin. He holds Bitcoin and not gold. Well, maybe he holds some gold, but he holds definitely a lot of Bitcoin, right? And it's not just him. Look at this. According to this report, a third of the billionaires around the world, not millionaires, billionaires, a third of them have direct or indirect exposure to crypto. Most likely Bitcoin, right? So, not everyone is giving up. I haven't heard much from Michael Saylor. I'd love to hear him kind of say something, because he's getting to that point where his some of his Bitcoin may be liquidated because of the collateral he put down, right? Or margin called, I should say, not liquidated. So I'd like to hear more about that. But there are many that are just not giving up, including me. Because as bad as it seems now, at 21,000, which I know is bad, I'm not going to try to downplay. 21,000 is no good for Bitcoin, right? We're off 50% just even from like a week ago, right? So it's not good at all. But I have lived through worse, and many of you guys have lived through worse. And the COVID crash in 2020 saw Bitcoin fall from 11,000 down to 3,800. That was our bottom, right? So there's one thing that I think could be coming, and let me explain what that is, right? But before I get to that, I want to show you a few other things. No, I'll just talk about what I think is missing, all right? So one thing I didn't talk about is Celsius. Celsius, obviously, riding the coattails of Luna at this point. Let's just put it that way. Luna, obviously, USD collapse was no good. During a weak market, brought Bitcoin down in a major way. Right now, Celsius shutting down withdrawals, not good. Not good at all, right? But there's more updates to that. So from the Celsius team, nothing. The only thing they tweeted was that, yeah, we didn't come out with any Cell 2.0 tokens, right? So I guess it's a scam going on. Someone creates Celsius 2.0, so they have to warn people about that. But that's it. They haven't declared anything else, have not given any clue on whether or not they'll ever open withdrawals and why they shut down in the first place, right? There's some people that's asking me, hey, I have a loan with Celsius. Should I repay it? Because it's getting to a point where if I don't repay it, I'm going to get margin called, right? And they're going to liquidate my crypto. But here's the thing. And I may be wrong about this, but I'm thinking about this. If you have a loan against Celsius and right now, I just don't see how they can handle any withdrawal. If they open it up, the withdrawal pressure will be so enormous that there will be a bank run and they'll run out of liquidity. This is why they're not opening up withdrawals, right? So if that's the case and they're out of money, they're going to go under no matter what. So if you have a loan against Celsius and you have something, you might as well keep it, right? Because if you actually repay the loan, then you have nothing and they go under, then you have nothing on hand. But if you have something and they go under, at least you have something, right? That's how I'm viewing it, because a lot of people have reached out to me saying, well, should I repay back my loan? I mean, like, if it was me, first of all, I never put down Bitcoin or any crypto as collateral to take a loan, because I've always said that's too risky. Don't do it, because you could get margin called, and that's what we're seeing right now. But if I did have a loan with Celsius, I would probably just keep it at this point, because I just don't see how they're going to get through this, right? So just want to throw that out there, because a lot of people asked me. But more news out of Celsius. It turns out that they transferred supposedly $320 million to FTX right before they announced they're going to halt trading and withdrawals. Interesting. You know why else this is interesting? Because just at the beginning, I said, look at the FTX spot volume and how massive that was. Does that have anything to do with the fact that Celsius had $320 million on FTX? Maybe they were liquidating today. I don't know. But there's something going on with FTX, why their sell volume is so high. Maybe connect the dots. Maybe it's from Celsius, and they're trying to liquidate right now. I don't know. Again, just speculating here. But this morning I did cover that they have enormous amount of money that's basically they borrowed, okay, and they're gonna get margin called. So they put down collateral, wrapped Bitcoin, and this morning their liquidation price was around 22,000. Then they put in some more Bitcoin, brought it to 20,000. Right? Now they put some more Bitcoin to bring it down to 18,000. So remember the thing I said about what's missing is whenever you play with leverage, and trust me, I've seen it and it have happened to me plenty of times. Whenever you try to bring your liquidation price down by putting more collateral, for whatever reason, it always hits. Like, it always hits. The liquidation price, no matter how low you bring it, seems to always hit. So are we going to see like a massive spike down to like 18,000 before we truly recover to get Celsius wiped out? I don't know. I wouldn't put it past it. We have seen that before. And it's the same reason why, if you zoom out to 2020, the COVID crash, right? We did have a massive wick down. Like a massive wick down before recovering. A lot had to do with liquidations as well, right? Liquidations, there's just a ton of it. There's more people that's playing with leverage right now, more than ever, and it's not good. It's not good at all. So that could be something that could happen, or maybe not, and this is bottom. But I wouldn't put past it that we see like a massive downwick and recovery, and the only reason for that is the whales are trying to liquidate everyone and get them out of the market, including someone like Celsius. And something else that's not good, and hopefully this does not turn to another Terra UST, is Tron. I've been talking about Tron, said I don't trust them. I don't trust Justin Sun. I don't trust the USDD, right? Guess what? Today, USDD, their new stablecoin, lost its peg. What happened last time? A stablecoin lost their peg? Not good things, right? So supposedly Tron had to deploy $2 billion to prop it up. But again, I don't trust Justin. I don't trust Tron. I don't know what's going to happen. This USDD blew up too fast, even faster than Terra and UST did. And their DeFi ecosystem is basically a joke. But hopefully this doesn't turn out to be something, but just want to throw it out there. Again, this is the reason why I've always said stay away from Tron, stay away from anything that belongs to Tron, because nothing good will come from it. So be careful with Tron if you are somehow staking USDD or something like that. I would highly recommend getting out of that at this point. All right, so there you go. Okay, now going back to the question, did Bitcoin hit bottom, right? Well, I did mention maybe we get that wicked downwick to liquidate everyone, sure, right? We already see massive capitulation from the exchanges, from Wall Street and stuff, but there are some Wall Street guys, some billionaires, I said, is staying strong, but it's not just them. A lot of retail investors, a lot of holders are staying strong as well, right? I'm staying strong. A lot of you guys tuning in are staying strong, right? And there's good reason to stay strong because we have seen this before. Let's start looking at some of previous turnaround times, right? Or previous bottoms. Well, one that everyone's looking at is the weekly moving average, the 200 weekly moving average. And you could see, well, going back to 2018, that did seem to form a bottom. In 2020, we did do that nasty wick below it, but ultimately we held that there and continued forward. We had a pretty nice V-shaped recovery. And look at where we are now. And this morning I said it's almost become a self-fulfilling prophecy because so many people just refuse to DCA or buy because they're waiting for this to hit. Well, guess what happened? It did hit. And not only did it hit, we're slightly below it, kind of like what happened in 2020, right? So this is something that a lot of traders, a lot of people were waiting for, right? And it has come. We have hit that 200 weekly moving average, right? So that could indicate a bottom since we have finally hit it. And if you go back, you look at Bitcoin's history, other than this COVID crash where we had this quick downturn, Bitcoin has never not bounced from this point, right? Doesn't mean that it will always happen, but this is like kind of the ultimate support level for Bitcoin to hold here and continue forward, right? But here's the good news. Just look at it. Even though we have hit that point, again, look at the trajectory. Look at the last two times Bitcoin hit the 200 weekly moving average. First time was at 3,000, actually slightly below, like 2,900. Then we had it around 4,000, 5,000, right? As low as 3,800, but yeah, it held around 5,000. Now we're at 21,000. So we are not at the same point as before. We're nowhere close to before. So we are definitely still moving upwards, but we have seen periods, unfortunately, where we do fall below. But it's not just the moving average. You look at other things. You know, I'm not the biggest TA guy, but if you're looking at, say, RSI, very oversold on the weekly, right? Same thing with the monthly. And there's a lot of other patterns out there that show that Bitcoin is ready to bounce. Here's one just measuring RSI, right? You could see previous times when it hit this low point, guess what happens? Bitcoin bounces in a big way. Here's one that's looking at dormancy flow, basically the dormant Bitcoins versus new Bitcoins. We're at the same point where Bitcoin is about to bounce, right? So there's just a lot of this. Here's the entry risk map, kind of like Bollinger Bands, right? Measuring risk. And where are we at the same point that Bitcoin bounced previously. So there's a lot of data that shows that, yeah, we're at that bottom or we're close to it, right? Either way, this is still prime buying opportunity. It always is, always is. And here, the Bitfinex whales. You know, I covered this before. Bitfinex whales, the long contract shot up before, and look at where it is now, even higher. What did a Bitcoin Bitfinex whales know? Well, they know to stack up. They know to stack up on longs when things are cheap and when things are low, right? Just like all the other whales that are still buying behind the scenes, right? So, is all hope is lost? Is everything done? Are we going to be stuck here at 20,000 or 21,000 or wherever we may be at forever? The answer is no. The answer is no. The markets are just scary right now. Very, very scary. Wall Street is very scared. And of course, we have Celsius scared now. We have stablecoin fear. We have a whole bunch of fear that's going around, right? That's what's happening. But Bitcoin is the one that you don't want to be fearful of. It's the one asset you want to hold. Hold long. The longer you hold it, the more you make from it. That's really the bottom line for Bitcoin. So I'm holding strong, and hopefully you guys do too. All right, now let's do some Q&A. All right, scrolling up. Let's see what I missed. Zach says $100 to fill up my car. Actually, it costs a lot more. My big old SUV is like 120, 130 to fill up. So inflation is, yeah, it's no good. It's no good right now. I'm working with Illuminati. No, I am not. Joe Gaming says, yeah, do what Thanos did to the population. Will it help inflation? I don't know why even I answered that question. Why I even looked at that question. Why is ADA holding up well compared to other tokens? Well, you got a lot of holders. You got a lot of holders, that's for sure. Cardano is one of the projects that have the most loyal holders. You look at how much is staked, like 75%, 77%, right? They're definitely holding stronger than some of the others today. In fact, you know what's interesting about today, and I noticed this, BTC dominance actually dropped because Bitcoin is selling off, but a lot more than others. You can see that Bitcoin and Ethereum is tied, negative 18% today. But look at BNB, it's 15. Yeah, it sucks, but it's less than Bitcoin and Ethereum. You look at Cardano, it's only 4%. You look at Solana, it's 7%. Polkadot's 4%. Avalanche, Sheeb, all less than Bitcoin. Why is that? Well, two things. Maybe one, people are stacking. People are buying the dip, DCing, cheap prices. Or two, right now, it's just a lot of manipulation going on over Bitcoin, right? But it actually surprised me quite a lot that Bitcoin dominance actually dropped. Yesterday it was like 46, heading to 47%. It actually dropped almost 3% today. Another thing to pay attention to. True TA2. I 100% agree. Great. Gary to the Moon says it's dumb for ordinary people to get into crypto. No, it's not dumb. We always welcome more or new people into this space, but they have to educate themselves, and it's hard to do that. It's actually hard to do that in both. You think about it during pump times and during correction times, because during pump times, no one really wanted to learn anything about fundamentals. They just follow what everyone else is doing, and you make money no matter what, right? And during bad times, well, they're already panic selling, so it doesn't matter. So either way, it's hard to learn the right lessons or the hard lessons to learn during really good times, really bad times. You kind of have to learn it in between, and you got to have the nerves to kind of withstand these corrections, right? To truly understand and to learn. So, I mean, I kind of agree with you. It's hard. But that's what I'm here for, to educate. Jeremy says Celsius will live. I hope so. I really do hope so. I really do not want to see Celsius go down. You know, at this time, no. No, thank you. And plus, it's going to bring so many new regulations to the space. That's not what we need. So I'm really hoping, Yeah, that doesn't happen. Why was XRP up 60% today? I don't know which chart you're looking at. Someone's asked about Cadena. You know, overall, I still like Cadena. Technology is solid, team is solid, but price-wise, I know it's not so good, but it's definitely one that I will be eyeing and supporting for a long time. Let's see. Wife changing wealth. Extend slow mode. This is already slow mode. I can't make it any slower. You know, when you have 8,000 people, you know, panicking and typing, it's hard to keep up. George, is it going to be okay? It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Bobby says, UST got me from the front. Celsius got me from the rear. Should I dump my alt and pick up cheap Bitcoin? Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Bobby. And it always happens, right? It's just unexpected things happen. But as for flipping to Bitcoin, it really just depends on how much Bitcoin you hold right now, what the allocation. You know, if you're very, very, very heavy into alt and not enough into Bitcoin, then yeah, that's probably a good strategy. But if you're already holding on a good amount of Bitcoin, right, like today, Bitcoin dominance actually went down. Some of the altcoins actually stopped going down, or at least not as much as Bitcoin, right? So again, it really depends on how much Bitcoin you hold already. Jeff, always appreciate your support. Blood everywhere, yes. Good time to open a crypto IRA. Well, if you have an IRA, yes. Or if you don't have one, I get yes. Tower Boy, you know, at this point, nothing, sure, emotionally. Sometimes it still gets to me, but really nothing surprises me anymore. Can I put you as a reference for my McDonald's application? Sure. Go ahead. Go ahead. What else did I miss? Did you sell all or most of your crypto? Neither. I'm holding on. Actually, I've been DCAing, and I will continue to DCA. In fact, today is a pretty darn good to DCA. Tea time. Love your morning streams on the drive to work. Great to hear that. Let's see. You still like Harmony, or has anything changed? Nothing's changed. I mean, honestly, besides, you know, like Celsius, yes, something's changed. But most projects that I've covered, you know, most projects that I've held on to, been holding, the ones that, you know, I've been doing with the DCA, right? They have not changed. The price has changed, yes, but the teams have not changed. Still, most of them are led by great leadership. You know, have great projects, great meaningful dApps and TVL, and you know, those things have not changed. But right now, yeah, I mean, there's some that changed. Obviously, Terra Luna changed, and being investigated, and Celsius changed, and you know, there'll probably be more. There'll probably be more changes for some of these projects, right? When things are bad, that's when things truly come to light. Like things that's been hidden, swept under the rug, or put on the back burner. You know, things that people were not paying attention to, now they will be. Let's see. Getting real ETH at 1050. Let's go 700 ETH. Racer for life. Any advice for those of us that are 100% altcoins? Well, I'm sorry to hear that. You're learning your lesson the hard way, right? Yeah, I would say, do your best to start stacking sats. You got to have some Bitcoin in your portfolio. Bitcoin is the one currency I'm sure of will be around in 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, right? It's still very early. It's the granddaddy of everything. It's the most secure network. And I still believe it's the best hedge against inflation. So you definitely have to have it. And during downturns, during corrections, it definitely shows the strength, while everything else kind of sells off because of the reasons I've said, right? So you got to figure out how to add more Bitcoin to your portfolio. BTC down, BTC to 9K, ETH to 460. That would repeat in 2017. I don't know. That's not right. But if you're talking about like 2018, or are you talking about beginning of 2017? Yeah, maybe, but it's not gonna get there. When we get back up to 30K, again, no one's gonna remember 20K. It always happens. Yes. That's when wealth is made, by buying low and selling high, right? People that loved Bitcoin at 40,000, at 50,000, at 30,000, they should love Bitcoin at 21,000. They should love it even more. But unfortunately, most people don't. People love to buy things on the way up because psychologically they feel like there's less risk that way, less fear. But those people hate buying on the way down. But that's you got to change your mentality. You gotta get excited and buy when things are low, and then you gotta do the hardest thing, I believe, which is to take profits on the way up, which almost no one does. Everyone wants to ride it to the moon, but that's why I think holding 20, 25, 30%, maybe even more in cash, right, is important, and it also helps you take profits to maintain that, that 20, 25, 30%. Do you think Celsius will go under? I have a half BTC in it. My gut feeling is yes, it will go under. I just don't see how they could recover unless they get some massive influx of cash. They make a deal with Binance or FTX and they buy them out and they provide billions upon billions of liquidity. I just don't see how they go recover. Because as soon as they open up withdrawal, they're going to have a bank run and everyone is going to withdraw everything. So, Ben, that's how I feel, but I hope I'm wrong that they could somehow fix it. Burglar asked, do I have any money stuck in Celsius? No. Luckily, about 2 weeks ago, I withdrew everything from Celsius because there was news about, FUD news about some of the stuff that was going on in Celsius. And I'm like, okay, I just decided to pull out. So luckily that I did. You think we're going to have to DCA until the next halving? It could happen, but I don't think so. I think the environment right now is different, but obviously with the macro stuff being so bad right now, with inflation, with supply chain issues, with the war, with so much that's going on, right? Yeah, we're definitely feeling the pain right now. But doesn't necessarily mean that we have to wait until the next halving event before having a good recovery back up. Bought the top 10, Bitcoin, ETH, panic sold at 40K, learned my lesson, going to DCA starting now. Good. I don't quite understand the numbers, but most people, I would say, if you've been in the game long enough, you come to realize that is the right thing to do. I'm telling you from experience. Like, there's too many times that I've been, in the past where I fell for my emotions just like most of you guys, right? I'm like, oh, let's go lower. I'm going to go sell, try and time bottom or something like that. And in every case, it ends up being a losing trade. Had I just held on and done nothing and just ignored things, I would be in a better position, right? When you try to outsmart the market, you usually lose. You do. Here late, sorry, any Vauld news? No, they're still operating. I haven't heard anything. I told them to release, some kind of press release. They haven't yet. Hopefully it's not like what Nexo, not like what they released this morning, which is absolutely horrible. Bin, AVSN, hey, I appreciate that. I try to keep it real. Appreciate your support. Chilamas, you already sent me a big super chat this morning, but I appreciate your continued support. But you don't have to name your kid after me. Hopefully the Celtics are winning right now. Maybe that'll make you even happier. But I don't know how much you had on Celsius, but I'm glad you took it all out. And it's unfortunate because I have so many that have reached out to me. Unfortunately, they have a lot stuck on Celsius. Hundreds of thousands of dollars stuck there, right? And a lot of them lost a lot with Luna UST too. So this is like double. I mean, this is on top of what we're seeing right now, right? So I really feel for them. It's horrible. So again, I'm hoping Celsius can figure it out. I'm hoping they merge. Maybe they merge with someone and they get an influx of liquidity. Maybe Animoca brands, they're flush with cash. Maybe they got invested in them, or Binance or FTX or whoever, right? Give them enough liquidity so that they can solve their issues. Otherwise, it's not going to be good for a lot of people. Mundo says George's hedge against depression. I appreciate that. Blue Label and DCA. Trying to cut back on the Blue Label. Starting to get expensive and not good for my health. How low do you think ETH will go just for fun of it? I don't know. I don't anticipate it's going to go to like $80. Because in 2020, it dropped to like $90 or $88. I don't think we'll ever see that again. But can it go below 1,000? I guess it's a possibility. But man, I mean, under 1,000 ETH would be prime buying opportunity. You got to realize that ETH was at almost 5,000, and if you can buy it back at like, say 900 or 800 or whatever it is, man, that's a golden buying opportunity. Why are these platforms like Celsius so irresponsible? Greed. It's always greed. It always comes down to greed. When Cell tokens, they were hot, $2 billion plus market cap. Alex and team probably thought, hey, we're on top of the world. We'll never become insolvent. We could always sell our Cell tokens if we wanted to, right? And then, of course, because of competition, because they have to generate most yield, they have to do risky things by taking advantage of DeFi projects, but not only that, leveraging and putting down collateral and borrowing against and all the things that are very, very risky. But in a good market, no one cares because everyone is making money and no one ever gets liquidated, right? But in a bad market, that's when those things, affect you and things come to light and bad things come out, right? And that's what we're saying. And we're probably going to see more of that. We're probably going to see more projects go under because of some of the irresponsible things they did within the last year. Noah, appreciate your support, man. Appreciate you being here. I feel like Elon will do another $1 billion buy. You know what? Elon's the type of guy that probably will do that. He'll probably tweet out something like, and I'm just going to make a guess. I think he's probably going to throw a tweet out like, Bitcoin's looking pretty cheap or something like that. And it'll probably spur a ton of buying. But he himself may be loading up. I mean, I don't have any metrics right now, but there's still a lot of metrics that show a ton of whale buying. Who are those whales, right? The ones that are truly believers. It could be Elon himself. American Shogun. Everyone wants to have a low buy-in chance, but very few take advantage of it. Yeah. If you love Bitcoin at 60,000, you should love it even more at 21,000, right? If you love Ethereum at 3,000, you should love it more at 1,100. You can now buy for fractional price, right? Pennies on a dollar, and you accumulate more, way more now than before, right? And that's how you build wealth. You buy low, you accumulate, you hold, and you wait for the wealth and gains to come to you. Anything else? Celtics tied the game. Man. You know, that's one thing I made a mistake on. People ask me, hey, do I want Golden State or Celtics to win? I said I couldn't take Celsius seriously. But the more I watch Golden State, the more they piss me off. And I don't know why Draymond Green is even playing. He seems like he's worthless at this point. But Golden State, the way they play, how cocky they are, it really turns me off. So now I'm hoping that Celtics win. So I know I'm backtracking. I still don't trust Celtics that much, but I can't stand Golden State, and I don't want to see them win another one. At what price would you go all in on ETH? 100. Like I said, if we ever, I don't think this will ever happen ever in our lifetime again, unless Ethereum goes belly up. I remember vividly Ethereum falling below 100, hitting that 80, 88 mark or whatever in March of 2020. I remember vividly, and that was the time to go all in on Ethereum. And same thing with Bitcoin falling 3,800. That was the time to go all in on Bitcoin, right? We're close to that point right now. We're very close to that point. I think what we're missing is that one nasty downwick, which we could still see happen, and maybe it wipes out Celsius altogether because they will get margin called and liquidated. But if we see that, right, that I believe will be the time to kind of go all in. I'm not suggesting that for anyone else, but I don't know how nasty that downwick was, but we may see that, and that'll be a prime buying opportunity. But even without that, we're at 21,000. Ethereum is at 1,100, right? This is prime buying opportunity already. This is why you DCA. Doesn't mean that you go all in, but yeah, this is pretty good buying opportunity. Are you more bullish on ETH or Cardano? For 2025 or 2030, I don't even know. I mean, if Ethereum can't scale by 2025, it's gonna be too late for them. Cardano, hopefully it gets done by 2025. You know what? I don't know. I'm saying both. Where can I DCA with low fees for beginners? I mean, all exchanges pretty much offer it. But, in terms of low fees, I don't know how low, honestly. I don't know which ones are truly the lowest. But, in the US, you got a lot of exchanges to choose from. You got my partner, FTX. They got a great app, great portfolio tracker app, but also a really easy app to use to get started with. But you have many others, of course, like Coinbase, Gemini, Kraken, Binance.us. Some of them harder to use than others. But in terms of fees, I'm not quite sure which one is the lowest. Sold my car to get ready for this. Wow. Hopefully you don't have to go to work. A group is trying hard to liquidate Celsius. Celsius added another 1,500 Bitcoin as collateral. New liquidation price about 1,700. Yeah, it's always like that. When it comes to liquidations, I didn't even bring it up, but let me bring it up. The those pesky whales, they know where all the major liquidation, the pain points are. But here's the thing. You know who's winning here? You look at this. You see massive, hundreds of millions being liquidated on the long side. But guess what? You're seeing hundreds of millions being liquidated on the short side too, because of the greedy leveraged traders. If you went at like a 3x, 5x, you wouldn't see this much. You only see this much because people are doing 20, 25, 50, 100, 125x leverage, right? This is the reason why. And they're getting liquidated on both sides. And who's winning? The exchanges that's offering them. This is why you don't play with leverage. As USTC totally dead, you think? Yes. There's no coming back from that. There's no use case for it at all. Yeah. Robert asking about DAG and its L0 token. Yeah, they call themselves a layer 0, but they're really an L1. I think they're promising. The fact that they have U.S. Air Force as a client says a lot, but still very early for them. Freemason says, my friend just got liquidated. I'm sure many people have got liquidated. It's not good. Dustin, I did my research, down 30K. I'm sorry. Hang in there. Swap Sol and Quant for 3 ETH. You know what? Seeing how oversold ETH is right now, I think stacking up on ETH wouldn't be a bad idea. ETH has been really decimated. I think it started with the Celsius FUD, with ST ETH being off peg. Definitely added a lot of down pressure to ETH. If you had 20K, would you go all in on Bitcoin or do 10K Bitcoin and ETH? Yeah, I would split it. I would do half in Bitcoin and Ethereum at this point. Tiberius got looted this morning, but made it all back an hour ago. Well, be careful, man. A lot of people think they're winning, and then they get greedy, and then boom, they lose it all again. Why didn't you share that information with us 2 weeks ago? I did. I covered all the FUD stuff. It's hard to cover FUD about projects because there's so many people that think, well, you're just causing FUD for the sake of FUD, right? But I did bring up all the stuff that I heard about Celsius weeks ago. There was FUD. There was FUD about Celsius. So, but anyways. Luna C, yeah, that's not gonna cover. That's not gonna recover. Are you buying any other altcoins right now? Right now, it's mostly Bitcoin, and I'm stacking a few alts. Ethereum is one of them. BNB is another one. Cardano is another one. And I've been stacking Avalanche and Polygon, even though Avalanche has been just really, really weak. But I still believe they're gonna come back. Right, a little bit of Polkadot and a few others, but mostly the ones I've been talking about, and mostly the ones that were big caps. Now a lot of them have fallen out of big cap territory, but I think these are the ones that will recover the fastest. But you can't go wrong with just sticking to Bitcoin at this point, being how oversold it is, what level it's at right now. Can't go wrong. Is Tron the next Luna if they don't repeg their stablecoin? Yeah, I mean. Again, I don't trust anything from Justin Sun, right? So be careful. And I've warned not to get involved with Tron. Never. Not good things come from him. Let's just put it that way. What do you think about blockchain non-custodial wallets? Is it safe? Seeing what's happening with Celsius right now, many people are learning not your keys, not your crypto, right? So, if you can, you want to safeguard your crypto, right? Put them on hardware wallets or mobile wallets, non-custodial wallets, right? Meaning that you hold your keys. So there's a lot of options out there. Mobile wallets are really easy to use. Really easy to use, and it's always with you. You check your phone anyway, so it's there. You just got to make sure that you have it locked. You don't get any viruses and malware, anything like that. You don't fall for phishing scams, right? So just be careful with those things. But there's many options out there. Like hardware wallets, I still like Ledger. I think Ledger has great options, but there's a lot of competition now. As for mobile wallets, like the Trust wallet is a great one that I use. Coinbase has their own Coinbase wallet that's pretty good. FTX has their own, the BlockFolio app, also pretty good. There's a lot of options out there. I like Trust Wallet. I've been using Trust Wallet for a long time. I think Trust Wallet is really good. Crypto Market Classic coming soon. Tiberius, I still haven't used Arculus yet. I have it, but I haven't used them yet. But I'm glad you moved your funds out of Celsius. So good for you. All right, guys, I'll let you go. Hang in there, my friends. Bitcoin is at 21.6. It's a nasty, nasty market out there. Nasty market out there, right? But Bitcoin will get through it, okay? It's got to be strong. You got to have patience. Continue what you're doing. DCA and HODL. That's what it really comes down to. Despite the fact that it does seem like things are getting worse, never going to get better, and this is like the worst time ever to be in crypto, it's not. This is nowhere as bad as 2020 or 2018 or crypto winter, right? And there's many signs that show that, yes, this is bottom or near bottom. We just don't know. Sometimes it's right, sometimes it's wrong, but there are many, many signs that do show that we are at that bottom point. Regardless, I will continue to DCA, and hopefully you guys do too, right? Because wealth is made by buying low, not buying high. Buying low and selling high. So remember that. All right. Smash the like, subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys tomorrow, bright and early, 8:15 a.m. Central Standard Time. All right? Have a good night, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.